Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cybersecurity Meg, and I'm super stoked that you're here. As always, before we get into the real quote unquote meat and potatoes of today's video, I wanted to remind you of a couple things that I think are extremely important for all of you to hear. And this is applicable to you, specifically you. Number one, your ideas, your creativity, your voice, whatever you bring to the table, whether it's at an internship, at your school, or at your day job, it's all valuable and it's all needed. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Number two, if you don't spend every waking minute and hour outside of what you're doing during the day working on enhancing your cybersecurity or IT skills, or keeping up with what the latest and greatest CVEs and zero-day exploits are, or hacking, perhaps on Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, just makes you human. You're okay to go outside. You're okay to put your focus and your attention into other initiatives and things that fulfill you and make you feel good about yourself. Somehow we've managed to get ourselves within the cybersecurity field and really the greater IT field at large. And we've convinced ourselves and created the stigma that if we're not constantly pushing ourselves within the field to do better and be better, which I agree with some aspect we should be doing, that we're failing. And I really don't like that. So I wanted to talk to you about it today. What I've noticed a lot of lately on Twitter, in the discords that I'm a part of, Facebook, Reddit, whatever, there seems to be an onslaught of people who attack other people in the field, and they kind of get angry or upset with them about the fact that they have interests outside of cybersecurity, or that they're willing to spend their time on things that are outside of cybersecurity, and they're not just using it solely to better the cybersecurity part of themselves. I really don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's healthy for anyone. I personally believe that well rounded individuals who are taking breaks for their mental health, who are channeling the energy that they have into things that they're passionate about, that are outside of what they're doing for their day job, this to me is imperative to having well-rounded cybersecurity professionals, to having people that can express their creativity during their normal job because they're not so burnt out from trying to keep up with everything that's going on in the world after their job ends for the day. Now, one of the things that I think is really important to stress here is that absolutely it's super important to be keeping up with what's going on in the world, especially in cybersecurity, with how quick and how fast paced it's moving. There's something happening every day. But again, I'm here to tell you that you yourself don't need to be the person who's keeping up every single day with what's happening. You just humanly, you can't. It's not possible. So if we could all just drop the stigma right now that we need to know about every critical level CVE, and we need to know about all the attacks and the breaches that are going on, and be able to speak proficiently to them, to our colleagues and our peers, and keep up at the in the Zoom conference weekly with the team meeting. It's not necessary, and subject matter experts exist for a reason. Subject matter experts are a great example of how I believe we can help avoid feeling this burnt out feeling and constantly consuming so much information that it makes us overwhelmed. Subject matter experts themselves are generally going to be responsible for being the subject matter expert in a particular topic. And that means they're going to be paying much more close attention to cloud if they are an SME in the cloud. A subject matter expert, perhaps an incident response, might pay more attention to the attacks and the breaches that are going on in the world, but maybe they would let kind of the assembly language, newest and greatest, latest updates lay to the side. So I really recommend, if possible, trying to hone in on what exact information you want to be consuming. Instead of having all these different platforms, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, I'm not on Clubhouse, but I hear it's hot, Instagram, whatever. Instead of having all these different platforms that just have loads and loads and days of content and scrolling through it aimlessly, trying to consume all of it and make use of it, we just need to focus in on what's imperative for us to better ourselves as a cybersecurity professional, and not try to live up to that stigma and the hype of knowing everything that's happening in the cybersecurity world. I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I really want to talk about and emphasize is that you're perfectly allowed to have activities and enjoy things that are outside of cybersecurity. I don't know why there's this huge stigma that if you don't spend every waking hour working on cybersecurity, then you're just not cut out to be in the field. But we really need to get rid of it. And we also really need to get rid of the stigma that people should be risking their mental health and their happiness and their sanity so that they can keep up with what's happening in the cybersecurity or the IT field. We need to collectively come together and remind each other that our mental health is number one. And if we don't have the mental health that's necessary to protect and advance the fields, then we're not adequately being able to do our jobs. We have to remember here that as cybersecurity professionals, a majority of us are defending in some way people at the end of the day. And you're probably thinking, Meg, I'm not a police officer. How am I defending people? The reality is, if you're working with any kind of PII, which could be social security numbers or someone's health information or their credit card information, which is PCI, not PII, as a side note, you, by and large, are helping protect someone's life. If someone's social security number gets out along with their birth date and various other sensitive information, and that information is used to commit fraud and withdraw tons of money from their bank account, and someone struggles to get their bank to help work with them or the credit card company to work with them, and it affects their home life, it might affect them being able to feed their children or pay their bills, or perhaps there's a marital issue that's going on. We have no idea what happens in these kind of events. I mean, some of us do, because I'm sure many of you have been through fraud and what have you that can happen when cybersecurity breaches occur. But my point is, at the end of the day, we have a huge responsibility in the field to advance, protect, defend, not just the assets, not just the information, but at the end of the day, it's really the people that's behind it. And if we're not in the right mindset, if we're not having the best kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The clarity in our heads to do the work that we need to do and the creativity to be the best professionals that we can, then we're not just doing ourselves a disservice, but we're also doing the companies, the people, the stakeholders, the nonprofits, et cetera, that we work for a disservice. So please, if you take anything away from this video, just remember that you're totally fine and you should be encouraged by the people around you to do the things that you love. It's okay if you work your 9 to 5 job in cybersecurity and then from 5:01 p.m. to 11 o'clock at night, you enjoy being with your family or you go outside for a jog or you go gardening or skateboarding or you just do something that brings you some sort of immense joy. You don't always have to find joy in the thing that you do to get paid at your job. That's not how it should be. And the stigma about needing to be so passionate about your job that it doesn't matter how much you get paid. Guys, it's 2021. Can we please get away from this? I mean, everyone needs to get paid money, and it's completely fine if someone wants to get into the field because they are brilliant and they see that they can use their brilliance and their intelligence to help make money. Obviously, it's going to be a much better professional generally if you are extremely passionate and engaged about what you're doing. But we just need to stop judging each other so much. Gosh, I mean, can we all just like take a chill pill, step back, be kind to each other, help support and encourage each other, and make the cybersecurity field a much more inclusive, diverse place to work? I think if we drop the stigma and get rid of it, that if you don't spend 24/7 living, eating, breathing, sleeping cybersecurity or IT, then it's going to make for a much, much better place for all of us to work. I hope you found this video encouraging. That's what I'm going for, I think. I'm going to be starting a new series that's around mental health and burnout within the cybersecurity and IT fields. This is just the first video of quite a few that I have coming up. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.